Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Sino. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that's been heavily debated in the MMA scene for a little bit, with the advent of Islam Makhachev becoming double champ and Justin Gaethje beating Ilia Topuria, which is what division is more stacked, lightweight or welterweight? A lot of people have their own opinions on this. Oh, it's lightweight. Oh, it's welterweight. It's stacked. It's stacked. But I'm here to really dive deep and see which division really has more talent. All right, let's get into it. So why are people talking about just 155 and 170? For the most part, it's because both divisions are stacked as shit, for lack of a better term, right? They both have mainstay rankers that have been in the title picture for a long time. And they also have new talent and prospects that are coming up, right? And another reason why I think a lot of people are talking about 55 and 70 for the most part is because they're seen as Joe Schmo divisions. And then what I mean by that is most people are within these weights. These are like regular weights. So it resonates with the fans more that the baddest man on the planet or the greatest lightweight is kind of similar in size to them, right? So that's kind of my justification. And why not another weight class? Well, there's a multiple reasons for this, right? The reason why flyweight isn't really talked about in terms of being stacked is because the top 15 is not as talented. Obviously, the champ, Joshua Van, former champ, Pantoja, Cop, Tatsuro Tyra with his no head movement ass. Like, these guys are talented, but the bottom of the rankings, they got guys like Tagir Lambekov, Charles Johnson. Like these guys aren't that skilled, right? Bantamweight, it's a lot of redundant and repeat matchups. It's very top heavy, similar to middleweight, which I'll get to. You got Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili. Like, all these guys are kind of going to fight each other. Umar Nurmagomedov is also in the mix as well. A lot of these guys are just stuck at are hard capped at like 7 or 8 in the rankings. And middleweight, like I said, it's very top heavy. Hamzat, Sean Strickland, Nasruddin. But outside of those guys, like, it's not a lot of talent below the 7 or 8 mark. And then with heavyweight, I mean, do we even got to say it? They're all fat, man. Everyone who isn't Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, or Cyril Gahn is either slow or unskilled, So that's why we're talking about 155 and 170. The most skilled fighters are usually either lightweights or welterweights compared to other weight classes for the most part, right? And here's my arguments for lightweight being the most stacked division, right? They have a really, really, really skilled and experienced top 5, top 10. Pretty much everyone in this top 5 range is either one fight away from a title, has fought for a title, or was a champion at some point in their career. Ilia Topuria, former double champ. Arman Sarukian was gonna fight for a title. Charles Oliveira, former champ. Max Holloway, former champ. BSD, probably one fight away. Paddy Pimblett fought for an interim title. All these guys are very, very close to that title. They've either tasted it or might taste it in the near future. They have some future long term as well. They have some prospects. Quillen Sal killed. I'm not going to count Rufi as a prospect since he's ranked, but he's an up and comer. They got Chonko, John Pork, Magomed a bunch of up and coming talent that can shake up the division, and it's a lot more active as a whole. A lot of these ranked lightweights will fight each other multiple times a year, whereas with other divisions, it takes longer for these dudes that are in their rankings to fight each other as opposed to fighting unranked guys. So the division is a lot more flowy. Like, there's a lot more cycling of contenders, right? Comparatively to welterweight, the top 10 is a lot fresher, right? Comparatively, we have Ian Gary, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales. A lot of these guys weren't ranked a year or two ago, and even Jack Del Magdaleno was I believe below the top 10 about a year or two ago, right? And then the prospect pool is really, really deep. We got dudes like Yaroslav Almasov. I put Islam Dulatov here, even though he doesn't fight. Jacoby Smith. Even that one dude who knocked out Emin Shabazian's brother, Chokali, the Georgian dude, right? A lot of these guys are up and coming. They have a lot of upside, right? And since these guys are, in the rankings, their fights are typically higher stakes, which makes it more exciting. Like, since they don't fight as often between the rankings, when they do fight, it becomes a big thing. Like with Gabriel Bonfim and Bilal Muhammad, like that shot Gabriel Bonfim straight up the rankings, right? Which it makes them more, they carry more weight, right, with these fights. So here's my big problem with lightweight. My Problem with lightweight is that the unks of the division are too crafty. They keep beating every prospect that comes up, right? I got Ignacio Bahamondes, Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan, and Esteban Ribovics. Ribovics technically isn't really a prospect because he's been in the organization for a bit, but these guys keep beating these young guys, man. Bahamondes got decision by Vasiv and then lost to Musayev. Freaking Manuel Torres got started by Bahamondes, and then he got started by Vasiv, like last week. Chris Duncan got subbed by Hanato Maikano, and Esteban Ribovics got subbed by Gamrot. These unks are almost too good for the division. They're not letting any young guy come up and kind of shake up the lower end of their rankings, right? But the problem with these unks is that they will beat any untested prospect, but they will lose to anyone even remotely high level, even each other, right? Hanato Maikano was knocked out by Rafael Vasiv. Gamrot lost to Dan Hooker. And Gamrot technically has a win over Vasiv. Like these guys, all these guys do is beat each other, lose, and then beat all these up-and-coming young guys. And with these unks being so crafty, it makes all these prospects hard-capped. All these prospects are hard-capped at like 10 or 11 in their rankings. Like this fight that got announced with Cullen Salkild and Mateusz Gamrot, like I have a sneaky suspicion that Gamrot is just going to sub him. Or he's just gonna 48-47 him. He's gonna shoot that single leg. He's gonna shoot that padded snap single, and he's just gonna get him on the ground, and he's not gonna be able to explode up. It's gonna be over, and it's just gonna prove that these unks are almost too good. They cap these prospects in the lower half of their rankings, so no one can kind of shake up the title picture, right? And my big problem with welterweight is that they're really, really, really inactive, which isn't necessarily always the welterweight's fault. But it's a lot of it is a matter of circumstance, right? With Islam Makhachev, we all know he's a Dagestani, man. They all fight once a year, if that, right? Carlos Prates, now that the fight with Ian Gary got announced, he's probably going to wait for a title shot. Same thing with Michael Morales. He's probably going to wait for a title shot. Then we have dudes like Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards got knocked out by Carlos Prates, and I haven't seen his face since. Kamaru Usman hasn't fought since December of 2025. And his next fight isn't even scheduled at 170. He's fighting DDP, right? All these guys are really, really nice. And Shavkat's fucking dead. Where is he? You know what I'm saying? It's like these dudes barely fight. So this inactivity is really killing the division because since these guys aren't ranked, the ranked guys are not fighting each other as often, and the title picture is slowing down, it makes the welterweights look sloppier. Like they don't look as flowy in terms of cycling of new prospects as lightweight does, right? Also, the lower ranked welterweights are pretty shit, in my opinion, right? Like Mike Malott. I know he beat Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is 40 years old, bro. He was on like a 4 or 5 fight losing streak. And people forget that Mike Malott got knocked out by Neil Magny. He didn't even pass the Neil Magny litmus test, bro. Then you got Earl Smedish, who's supposed to be like this power merchant prospect. He got submitted by a lightweight, Miktabek Orolbai. And Orolbai himself is a welterweight now, and he's not even, that high level in terms of like all around MMA. He got beat by Mateusz Rebecki, who just lost to Grant Dawson. You see what I'm saying? And then you have D-Rod. D-Rod was in a Mexican prison, hid in a plastic bag for like 8 months. And now he's ranked and he's fighting somebody soon. Like, what is this, man? So my overall pick would still have to be the welterweights. They're too talent laden to ignore. Like, they're definitely the most stacked division by far. You have Islam Makhachev, pound for pound #1 as champ. You have Ian Machado Gary, uber skilled, uber technical, #1 contender. You got Carlos Prates, very, very skilled, probably the best striker, pure striker in that weight class. You got Shavkat Rakhmonov, kinda. He's very skilled. Michael Morales, very good. Joaquin Buckley, terrible. Sean Brady, very skilled. Like even Bilal Muhammad, Gabriel Bonfim, Yaroslav Amasov. These guys are really, really good. And then there's prospects to back them up. These prospects aren't being killed off, right? So I think my pick will be welterweight to be the most stacked division in the UFC, right? As of right now. So thank you all for watching the video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm trying to come back to this more long form content soon because I've been sucking at it recently. But if y'all want to do a UFC 329 fight opinion or predictions video, let me know. I should do that. But without further ado, you know what I'm saying? That's the video. Appreciate y'all. Peace.